Okay, guys, you should have on your desk the paper that I have here, this white paper. This is going to be our foldable. I would like you to start by folding on these lines. You're going to fold it inward, so it's going to look like this. Go ahead and do that now if you want to pause the video for a second so everyone can fold their paper nice and neat, and then we'll get started. Okay, we are going to be talking about how we can find proportionality in a table, a graph, and an equation, and also all about K. How can I find K in all of these? How can I tell if it's proportional? We're kind of putting everything together now so that you will be prepared for your quiz next class and for the test next week. All right, so here we go. Constant proportionality we know is the letter K. Please write that on the front, and then let's go inside to do this first one about constant of proportionality. Let me zoom in here. The constant of proportionality is the ratio of y to x. We can also write it as K equals y over x. In this case, constant means at the same rate, at the same rate. So the constant is the same. So it might be, you get 3, 3, 3, or 10, 10, 10. That's the constant. It's the same in every problem, like $10 an hour, $10 an hour. We know it's represented by the letter K. And we know, and I've said it many times, that K equals y over x, the ratio y over x. When we do write our K, it can turn into an integer, like 10, 3. It can be a fraction, maybe it's 1/3. Or it can be a decimal, like 2.5. And all of those are acceptable. So you're just dividing to figure out what it is. So whatever you get after you divide y by x, that is going to be your answer for K. It is also important to note that if we find out that something is not proportional, then that means there is no constant of proportionality. In other words, if it is not proportional, there is no K. You cannot have a number for K. It's not 0, it's just there is not one for K. All right, so those are our notes on constant of proportionality. Again, if I'm going too fast, this video is on Canvas as well as the final notes are on Canvas. All right, follow along. Now we're going to talk about a table. From a table, how can I tell when it's proportional and what the K is from a table? So when you have a table, you are going to make a ratio of y over x. And you're going to do this for all ordered pairs. And then simplify them or divide them. The exception, there is one exception. You cannot do this for x equals 0. And let's think about why that would be. If I put a 0 in for x, then it would be y divided by 0, and we know that that's undefined. So if you do have a point where there's a 0 for the x, we're just going to ignore that point. After I check all the ratios, if they are the same, I say yes, they're all the same, then is that proportional or not proportional? You should have been thinking proportional. If they're all the same, they are proportional. If you have different ratios, then it would be not proportional. Not proportional. Okay, let's try this. So K we know is going to be y over x, and it has to be in simplest form or divided. Okay, divide the ratio. So if I start here with my first one, I'm not going to use 0, 0. I'm going to ignore that point because 0 divided by 0, that would be undefined. So ignore that. But now I'm going to go y over x, so 3 over 1. My next one would be 6 over 2. The next one would be 9 over 3. Next would be 12 over 4. So let's think about what these are. Here we go. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So at this point, you should be thinking, okay, well, is this proportional? They're all the same, 3, 3, 3, 3. So circle proportional, and guess what the K is? 3. So make sure you write that in. Let's try the next one. We're not going to use when X is 0, so mark that one out. Start with the next one, 3 divided by 1. Let's go ahead and do that. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Do y over x, 5 divided by 2. Do that one in your calculator or in your head. It's 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. We don't need to go any further. We could check these other ones too. They're also different, but because these are different, this would be considered not proportional, not proportional. So we are going to mark out the K. There is no K, so we don't put anything there. We don't put a number. We don't put anything. So mark out the K. Okay, please pause the video. I'm going to give you some time when it's paused to do the next two. I want you to decide if they're proportional or not proportional, and then write the K. All right, you're back, so I hope that you've done this. Let's check it. This would be -3 over -2, 6 over 4, 12 over 8, and 18 over 12, and 24 over 16. You should have checked all of these, and if you did, you found out they were proportional, and the K was 1.5. Don't do the 0, 0 in the next one, but do all the others, -2 over 1, 2 over 1, 4 over 2, and 9 over 3. At first, I thought it was going to be proportional, but then I got to this one. 9 over 3 is different, so it's not proportional, even if there's one different one. Mark out the K. So with a table, we check every single one, every single ratio, and decide are they the same or are they different. If they're the same, whatever number you're getting is the K. If they're different, not proportional, no K. All right, let's move on. Our next one is going to be from a graph. So this is what we did last class, and I feel like we did pretty good on that. So think about it for a minute. The graph must be blank and blank. It has to be two things. So the graph has to be a straight line and go through the origin, represented by the coordinates 0, 0. When we're doing and finding the K for a graph, we do need to look at the graph. And we need to look at the y over x. So we find a point on the line and we look, okay, what is the vertical distance and the horizontal distance? Because we want our K to be a unit rate, we can find the y when x is 1. Remember that your ratio must be simplified. Okay, let's take a quick look here. I want you to pause for just one moment and circle proportional or not proportional. Okay, you should have circled the first one is proportional. It goes through 0, 0, and it is straight. The second one, not proportional. It is curved, and so it is therefore no K, not proportional. The third one, also not proportional because it does not go through 0, 0. And finally, the last one is proportional. It does go through 0, 0 and is straight. Now let's go back and find the K. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. To find the K, remember I can look at the unit rate. So I'm going to go to the 1. I'm going to go up to the point on the line, and I'm going to go over to the y. You should be able to see that it is 2 is the y over 1, or just 2. So the constant of proportionality there is 2. Let's look at our last one, which was proportional. Remember, if it's not proportional, I should have marked this out. No K. All right, so our last one is proportional. We got to find the K. go to the 1, put your point on your line, and then find out the y would be this distance, so that's -1, because it's down, and write 1. So my answer is going to be equal to -1 when I simplify it. All right, we are to the last one, which is today's lesson, from an equation. So open it back up and look at from an equation. Proportional equations must be in the form y equals kx, where k is called the constant of proportionality. To find the k in the equation, you are looking for the coefficient of x. You are looking for the coefficient of x. Coefficient means the number multiplied by x, or the number in front of the x. So when I have y equals kx, I know that my k is the number that's in front of the x. All right, looking at these last ones, I am trying to ask myself, does this match this equation? Is it in the same form? So when I look at y equals 10x, yes, y equals k times x, a number times x, so y equals 10x. That matches, that is proportional. The k then is just the number in front of the x, so it is 10. Look at go ahead and pause, and I want you to mark whether they are proportional or not, and then come back and check. Okay, now that you're back, let's check them. The second one would also be proportional, and the k is 3.2. The third one is not proportional, and the reason why is because we have this extra +4. There's nothing added or subtracted to my equation. So if you have anything added or subtracted, it's not proportional. Mark out the k. The next one, maybe, even though it has a fraction, it still matches because it has a number times x. So yes, proportional. The k is 5/3. Go ahead and write that in. This next one has an x squared. That is not in our equation. It also is having something added or subtracted. This is not proportional, so there would be no k. And the final one does match. It has a -9 multiplied by the x, so our k here is -9. All right, so this is an important foldable. Please make sure that this gets put somewhere where you are not going to lose it, so that you can study with it, and you can also use it on your homework when you are trying to remember, how do I find the constant of proportionality in a table, a graph, or an equation? All right, your homework tonight is going to be on ALEKS. Please make sure that you work on that and have that completed for the next class. We will also have a quiz on sections 1.4 and 1.5 next class period. All right, guys, have a great day. See you next time.